I'm Joanne Feitz-Coffin, and I'm the president of the Wildfire Ready Coalition of Nevada County. And we're very happy to have you all join us today. Education is one of the primary things we do in supporting Firewise communities. And tonight we have a webinar, I'll pull up the slides in a minute, that talks about various aspects of evacuations, the emergency alert system, and then Case Walters from the United Way is going to talk about buddy team system. And that is something that's a particular interest to me as a Firewise community leader. So you'll hear more about that. And then I will talk a little bit about, very little, about the resources that we have. So I'm going to share my screen and hopefully it's all going to work out. So before the smoke, we want to act now. And I think luckily we don't have the smoke here, but fires are going on. So I'm glad you're all here to make sure you're prepared. So we're going to start out with Alex Keeble-Toll from Nevada County Office of Emergency Services, and she's going to talk about the new Nevada County Emergency Alert System and a few other key steps to be prepared. Then we'll hear from Case Walters of the United Way of Nevada County about his buddy team system and tool. And then I'll share a little bit more about the resources that we have on our YouTube channel and on our website. So with that, Alex, I'm going to hand it over to you, and you can just tell me when you want me to advance the slides.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate you having me, and thank you to folks on the call. Very, very timely for those of you that track National Weather Service. We are under a red flag warning today for parts of Nevada County, just way down on the bottom in South County, but I know that the Wildfire Coalition does a really good job of kind of alerting folks to red flag means pay attention and like make sure you've got all of your things in order. So, Nevada County Alerts is our new alert and warning platform for Nevada County. This is our opt-in platform, and it replaces Code Red, which we had had as our opt-in alert and warning platform since 2014. Next slide. So we rebranded as Nevada County Alerts, and I'm going to go into why we changed from Code Red. But really, what we want folks to recognize is it's not about the platform and the back end. It's about what does that platform do for you. And so Nevada County Alerts is both literally a thing, but it is also Nevada County who sends the alerts to you. It is most often the sheriff's office, but OES sends out alerts to opt-in customers of our platforms at the direction of the sheriff's office. And really the point here is that these opt-in alert and warning notifications come from a trusted source of information within Nevada County. Next slide. And the purpose of alert and warning really is to have that reliable and effective communication from a trusted source. We want our residents to know that if they're receiving a message from our alert and warning platform, it is coming from the trusted source, which, as I mentioned, is often the sheriff's office or the Office of Emergency Services at the direction of the sheriff's office. And really, when we have fires in Nevada County, we're looking at the sheriff's office working in unified command with CAL FIRE most often, and they're basically directing that information as far as wildfires are concerned and when we're talking about evacuations. But really, with alert and warning, we're trying to attract the attention of residents to an unusual situation and ask you to take action of some form. So though we most often associate these alerts with wildfire, we can also use them to let you know, for instance, if there was an active shooter in your zone, or perhaps there was a landslide affecting your road access, or even if we had many, many days or weeks of power outages and winter weather, we might use Nevada County alerts to let you know that we have warming centers or where you might get resources. And then in addition, the sheriff's office uses it for enhanced capability around a variety of different emergency related coordination exercises. So for instance, search and rescue historically used our alert and warning platform if they needed to pull together a team to go do a rescue. Next slide. So we have a variety of different types of emergency alerts, and it's important to know that we have all these different options because none of them are fail-safe, right? We live in a rural community. Sometimes we lose power, sometimes we use connectivity, sometimes as residents, our devices fail us. And we want to really make sure that people are aware of all the different ways you might receive important information about an emergency so that you know that this is kind of your network or your safety net for getting that information. So the first is Nevada County Alerts, which is where you're going to receive landlines and cell calls, emails, texts. And this is an opt-in platform, meaning you actually have to sign up for this. So it functions identical to Code Red in the sense that you have to opt in to this alerting platform. You can also use the Genesys Protect app and then follow a zone or turn on your location to get notified about danger wherever you are. So that's a function of kind of our know your zone piece of alerts, which I'll explain a little bit more later in the presentation. In addition, we use wireless emergency alerts. So for wireless emergency alerts, no registration is required. So this alert is basically us working with FEMA as part of the Integrated Public Alert and Warning System to send out alerts to residents. And the way those alerts work is it's based on a notification to your cell phone depending on a particular location. So wireless emergency alerts ping off of cell phone towers, meaning that you could get a wireless emergency alert for a fire in the vicinity of the grocery store if you were at the grocery store shopping, but you might not get a Nevada County alert at the same time for your home address because your home address is in a zone that's not actually being impacted by an emergency. The utility of wireless emergency alerts is that they allow us to reach residents who are not signed up for alerts, who may be out and about in the community in a location that is not associated with a zone for the address that they've opted in for. Or for folks who are here vacationing, we have, a lot of tourists here in the summer, and wireless emergency alerts are a way that we can make sure that folks who are not from the area are still going to get that information. The emergency alert system is also part of the integrated public alert and warning system. So that's what happens when you're listening to the radio or you're watching television and you hear that kind of obnoxious wah, 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 we interrupt this programming. That's where basically FEMA's taking over the radio waves or over the television to provide that information to folks who are utilizing either radio or TV at that moment in time. We will always use a high-low siren. So all of our local law have high-low sirens equipped on their vehicles. So the sheriff's office and our local police departments. And that's when law enforcement is going door to door when an evacuation order has been issued. So that's that British siren sound, the weir, weir. And that really means you have to go right then. That doesn't mean spend some time thinking about packing your go bag, et cetera. That means there's an evacuation order and they're literally going through your neighborhood and say, you need to leave this moment. And then finally, we always recommend that folks monitor local media to stay informed. I think we probably all utilize Ubinet's happening now. KVMR and KNCO will also report on emergencies, including wildfires of concern when we've got something that is big enough that it's requiring evacuation orders or warnings. So those are also very good sources. And then readynevadacounty.org, where we have our Facebook linked. OES Facebook is a great resource, as is the county main Facebook page and the sheriff's office Facebook. And that's all places where you're going to get information from trusted local sources. And just to kind of remind you, right, when we have an emergency, there's oftentimes a lot of misinformation floating around, right? And so people tend to get a bit worked up. They get a piece of misinformation. They maybe start to act on it. And we really ask residents to look to trusted sources of local information and kind of see what those trusted sources are saying. Also, be active community members, have situational awareness, pay attention. If you see smoke, call 911, all of those things. But just know that there are trusted sources for getting information, and it's a great way to kind of verify what you may be hearing through various other channels. Next slide. So I mentioned this, but just to reiterate, the reason why we have all these different options is so that we have system redundancy. We want to be able to message people who haven't opted in, who are visiting. We also have an MOU with the town of Truckee for alert on behalf. And what that allows us to do is for those integrated public alert and warning messages. So either that wireless emergency alert or that emergency alert system through television or radio. We have an MOU with the town of Truckee where they can actually push those alerts out for us. So if we in Western Nevada County were very overwhelmed with a major incident, it gives us an additional redundancy that we can call on our emergency manager in Truckee and say, hey, James, we need your help. Can you please support us in making sure these messages get out? And then we can request that same assistance from Cal OES. Next slide. So Nevada County Alerts is that opt-in solution. It allows you to opt in to receive timely messages related to emergencies. You can request how you want to receive that information. I think in this day and age, cell phones are a really effective way to receive that information because then you're also going to be out and about and getting those wireless emergency alerts. But you can get them to your landline. You can get them to email. You can get them to text to telephone for folks who are hearing impaired. So there's different options you can sign up for. You can also opt into these emergency alerts in a variety of different languages. In Nevada County, the main other language besides English that we would expect is Spanish, but you can opt in for whatever language pertains to you effectively receiving that information. Next slide. So why are we changing systems? I think I mentioned we had been with Code Red as our opt-in alert and warning platform since 2014. In November of 2025, the Code Red system experienced a major data breach. It was a nationwide breach, and within California, it affected 12 counties and 6 cities. What happened at that point in time is the vendor decommissioned the Code Red platform and forcibly migrated us to another platform that they owned called Crisis 24. That wasn't ideal to us because we hadn't had the opportunity to vet whether the Crisis 24 platform met all of our needs as a rural county with a really dispersed population. So we opted to take the opportunity, given the timing of the data breach, kind of just getting into winter when we don't typically experience a lot of need to alert residents through an opt-in system. We thought it was an ideal point in time to actually go through a formal market analysis of our alert and warning options. Next slide. So we did that to test the competitive market, right? More than a decade had passed since we had originally contracted with Code Red, and there's been a lot of cost advances, compatibility, technology advances, and we really wanted to take the opportunity to find the best solution for our rural county. And we did loop in some of the folks who serve our more vulnerable populations, our seniors, Spanish speakers, to also get their kind of position on like what do we really need to have in Nevada County to best serve all of our constituents. Next slide. So we did go through this formal procurement process through our purchasing department. We issued a formal request for proposals, so it was a competitive process. We developed our RFP in partnership with the sheriff's office because they really are the leads for evacuation. So they're really the point person for sending out those alert and warning messages should we need to issue them. We notified, thousands of firms. We received 5 proposals. We had a really robust evaluation panel that included, our law professionals. We included information systems, given the fact that, Code Red had experienced a data breach. We wanted to make sure that whichever vendor we landed with had best practices for making sure that people's data was secure. We wanted to make sure other users within the county had an opportunity to weigh in. So Town of Truckee and Grass Valley Police. All of these folks evaluated the proposals. They went through software demonstrations with the different vendors to see how the different platforms functioned. And then we landed on a platform and got board approval and launch April 14th for Nevada County Alerts. Next slide. So I mentioned we're rebranding to basically align with the function, not the product name. And I think about this like if you're going to walk on glass, please wear shoes. I don't care if you're wearing Nikes or Adidas, just wear shoes. I don't want people to get hung up on whether the platform is code red or whether it's Genesys or whether it's HQE or whether it's any number of other vendors that provide this service. We want people to register for Nevada County Alerts, period. And that allows us, if the market changes at some point in the future, hopefully not for another decade, but you never know, we don't have to confuse community members around like, well, now is this the same as what you had before? It's just register for Nevada County Alerts, and we have no changes to the zones. You still need to know your zone, and your zone has stayed the same. Next slide. So how do you sign up? It's really simple. You go to readynevadacounty.org/emergency alerts. There's a button there in Spanish and a button there in English. You're going to click on that. It's going to bring you to the Nevada County Alert sign up page, which is what you're seeing this picture of. We also have an instructional film available in Spanish and English, also at the readynevadacounty.org/emergency alerts. All you need is a phone number and an email. You don't need a password, which is fantastic because that was one of the things that you did need for Code Red, which is what made that data breach a little disconcerting, because if you had used the same password for Code Red and then other accounts, that password was kind of associated with your person, right? So if you haven't heard it before, if you use the same password for Code Red and as other accounts, change the passwords on your other accounts just as that extra layer of security. But the great thing about this new platform, no password required, and you can receive alerts for up to 5 addresses. And this was something that was really important to us in reviewing the vendor platform, because many folks in the past had said, well, I'm signed up for my home, but I've also got, my kid's school and maybe my parents or maybe my work and my home. And so what's fantastic about this new platform is you can receive information for 5 addresses. So I have my work, my home, my mom's house, my in-laws, and my kid's school. So that way I'm getting all that information, should there be an emergency impacting those areas. Next slide. So what do you do if you signed up for Code Red prior to March 2025? If you signed up for Code Red prior to March 2025, we were able to migrate your data across to this new platform. If you signed up after March 2025, between March 2025 and the November data breach, we were not able to migrate those data. But if you were an early adopter of Code Red or not even a not so early adopter just before March 2025, your data was migrated across to the platform. So in that case, when you go to readynevadacounty.org/emergency alerts, instead of clicking the sign up function, you're going to navigate to the right-hand sidebar and you're going to go down to what says update your information. And you're going to click on that link, and then you're going to enter your email and your phone number that you would have signed up for your Code Red account with, and it will either call you with a code or text you the code. And then you use that code to log in. You can get in there, you can verify your information, you can update it, you can add addresses. If you have any challenges, you can call 211 Connecting Point and they'll kind of walk you through that process. And if they encounter challenges, they will let us know and we will reach out to the vendor to resolve those issues. Next slide. So it's really important that you add Nevada County alerts to your contacts, because when you receive these alert and warning messages through the Nevada County Alert System, we want to make sure you're not going, oh goodness, is this spam? These alerts will come from up to 5 numbers that are listed here. They're also listed on the downloadable fact sheet that we have available on readynevadacounty.org/emergency alerts. But basically, you want to put these numbers in your contacts. And the reason why we have so many is so that we can prevent bottlenecks. When you send out a lot of alerts to a lot of addresses all at once, there can be like a minor lag of a couple minutes as those alerts are all pushing out through the system. So having 5 numbers gives us a ton of utility in terms of making sure that we can get that information out quickly. And I will say we did our countywide test on May 28th, and we did hear from folks that depending on your cell provider, for instance, if you were a T-Mobile customer, it would come in as potential spam. I'm an AT&T customer, and it came in as Nevada County Alerts was the caller ID, and I did not have the numbers in my contacts. So for some providers, it is caller ID as Nevada County Alerts, but for others, it is coming in as spam. So just make sure you add these numbers into your contacts. That way you know you're getting information from a trusted source. You're not being spammed by Nevada County or someone else. Next slide. So I'm hoping you guys all received your alert on May 28th. We ran those by supervisorial districts, starting in Western Nevada County with District 1, moving all the way through District 5 in Eastern Nevada County. We ran those alerts every 30 minutes. I can say on the user end of things, it was very seamless. It's a really easy platform to work in. I'm hoping folks receive the alerts, and if you didn't, please go into the system and verify that your information is in there and it's accurate and it's correct, because we're not going to do another test this wildfire season, putting quotation marks on it. But we typically do our countywide test in like January, February, so that we're not basically stressing people out. They're getting that alert and, in the middle of the warmer months and thinking, oh goodness, is this for real or is this the test? So we try to do the tests in the winter when we call it our downtime. So just know that if you didn't receive that test alert, we're not going to send out another one. So please do go in and verify your information if you did not receive it on the 28th. Next slide. And so we want you to get ready, right? Sign up for emergency alerts. Know your zone. Your zone has not changed, but you do still have to know your zone because when we send out those alerts, they're going to always include some key pieces of information. We're always going to tell you who the alert is coming from so that you know it's the sheriff office or OES or, Truckee OES. You know it's a trusted source of information. We're going to tell you what the thing is. So maybe it's a fast moving wildfire. We're going to tell you what the action we need you to take is. So it's an evacuation warning, it's an evacuation order, and we're going to tell you what geographic area is impacted, and that is going to be your zone. So you still need to sign up for the alerts and you still need to know your zone because that's how you're going to receive that information about whichever of the 5 addresses you've signed up to receive information on. Find your 5. To be honest, your neighbors and friends are going to be your best allies during a wildfire. You maybe are asleep or not receiving the alert. Your neighbor is hopefully going to bang on your door and say, hey, get up, we have to go. Maybe you receive an alert for your home address and you're not home and you have pets at home and you need your neighbor to get in there and get your dogs out. Find your 5 people that you can rely on during an emergency to have your back, and then return that favor in kind. Be somebody's 5. Be somebody's person where you're going to go and make sure that their pets are okay, or you're going to grab their kids who are home alone, or whatever it is. Find your 5 people. Oftentimes, for people in Firewise communities, this is going to be your Firewise community members. And then pack your go bag, and not just your go bag, your go bag for your pets. And if you have, special circumstances, you have, maybe an infant or you've got teenagers, make sure that you pack diapers and you ask those teenagers what's important with them, to bring. Maybe you wear glasses or you have specific medications. Make sure that you're thinking through what you need and that you're doing the same for your pets. Make sure you've got vaccination records. Make sure you have food. Make sure you have leashes, all of those things. If you have to put your pet in sheltering, you're going to have your vaccination record to show that your pet's records are up to date. So everything you would do in terms of getting your marriage license and your birth certificate and all of those important documents in your go bag, think about your pet and kind of pull those important documents for them as well. Next slide. If you're in a Firewise community, and I know that most of the folks on the call here are, and you've already done your due diligence, but please, please look at any materials that you may have from Nevada County OES or others. If they mention code red, please recycle them. We are happy to replace all of your materials with ones that now reference Nevada County alerts. Really important because we don't want people to feel a false sense of security that they're signed up for code red, although their data will have been been migrated. We really want people to get in the mindset of Nevada County alerts and all be on the same page. So you can visit Ready Nevada County. You can actually request outreach orders. You can place that materials order. We'll get you everything you need and the quantities you need. And then you can come pick it up from us here at the Rood Center in Nevada City. Next slide. And then furthermore, if you're in a Firewise community or an HOA and you want to have someone from the OES team come out, or maybe you're having an event and you're hoping that someone's going to come out and speak to some specific areas of interest around emergency preparedness, go to our Ready Nevada County Education and Outreach page. You can scroll down to the bottom. There's a link to get in touch with us, and you can fill out an outreach request form. This is incredibly helpful for our team because it lets us know when you're hoping for someone to attend a meeting, what you're hoping to hear about, if you want us to bring educational materials. And that really allows us to curate who we're sending and what we're talking about to your needs as a community. So if you want to hear about evacuation, I'm probably going to find someone from the sheriff's office who can really speak to that. If you want to hear about defensible space, I'm going to get you a defensible space inspector who is going to talk about it way more eloquently than I will. So that way we can make sure that you're getting what you need and your community members are getting the opportunity to have the expertise and ask the questions that they want to hear about. Next slide. And that's all I've got. So if folks have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And you're also always able to email us at oes@nevadacountyca.gov and we will get back to you.
Why don't we hold the questions until after Case's presentation? Okay. All right, Case, it's all yours.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for giving United Way of Nevada County a few minutes today. My name is Case Walters, and I'm here to introduce the Buddy Evacuation Team, or BET, a simple neighbor-to-neighbor program built around one powerful idea. No one should have to face an emergency alone. In Nevada County, we know wildfire is not theoretical. Evacuation orders can come fast. Roads can become confusing, phones start blowing up, and in those moments, even people who are usually independent can suddenly need help making decisions, packing essentials, or getting out safely. BET is designed to close that gap before the emergency happens. Next slide. The program really starts with two questions. Do you need help during an emergency? Or are you able to help during an emergency? That is it. Some residents may have mobility challenges, medical needs, unreliable transportation, confusion around alerts, or simply no nearby family or neighbor that they can count on. On the other side, we have community members, Firewise volunteers, CERT members, and neighbors who already naturally check on people around them. BET brings those two groups together in a more organized and supportive way. Next slide. The Buddy Evacuation Team connects volunteers with neighbors who may need extra help preparing for or responding to an emergency. This is not meant to replace first responders, law enforcement, fire agencies, or official evacuation systems. Instead, BET strengthens the community layer underneath all of that. It helps make sure vulnerable residents are not isolated, forgotten, or left trying to figure things out alone during a fast-moving event. The goal is prevention, preparation, and connection before panic sets in. Next slide. Who should sign up for help? Someone should consider signing up for BET if they have mobility or medical challenges, no reliable transportation, uncertainty about what to do when alerts arrive, or if they would simply feel better knowing someone is checking on them. The last point matters. This program is not only for people in extreme situations. It is also for seniors living alone, people with disabilities, residents recovering from illness or surgery, people without nearby family, or anyone who may need a little extra support when things move quickly. And families can also sign someone up or help them connect with us. Next slide. Who can volunteer? For volunteers, we are looking for people who want to support their community. That could be Firewise members that we mentioned, CERT members, neighborhood leaders, retired residents, working adults, or simply people who already know their road, their neighborhood, and who might need a hand. A buddy does not need to be a professional responder. They need basic communication skills, reliability, good judgment, and willingness to check in. The impact is simple but huge. No one in your neighborhood gets overlooked. That is the piece we are trying to build, a safety net that already exists socially in many places, but now has a clearer structure. Next slide. What a buddy does. A buddy may help in a few practical ways. They can check in during red flag warnings or evacuation alerts. They can help someone think through a basic evacuation plan. They can encourage the person to prepare a go bag and gather essentials. They can help connect someone to emergency resources when needed. Again, this is not about putting volunteers in dangerous situations. It is about early communication, preparation, and making sure people have a plan before conditions become critical. We want buddies acting early, safely, and within clear boundaries. Next slide. Signing up. Signing up is simple. People can sign up as someone who may need a buddy or as someone willing to be a buddy. They can also sign up as an existing pair. For example, a neighbor who already checks in on somebody nearby. United Way can help with the matching when needed. And the sign-up page can be found on United Way of Nevada County's website under our Disaster Preparedness tab, or people can call the United Way of Nevada County directly. The program is free, confidential, and supportive. Next slide. So our closing call to action is very simple. If you are a part of a Firewise community, a neighborhood group, a senior serving organization, a disability serving organization, a church, a road association, or just a community network, help us identify both sides of this program. Help us find the residents who may need a buddy, and help us find the neighbors willing to be one. Wildfire preparedness is not only about defensible space, go bags, and evacuation maps, it's also about people. BET gives us a practical way to look out for each other before the emergency starts. Thank you, and I would be happy to connect with anyone who wants to help bring BET into their neighborhood. BET is not replacing emergency services. It is strengthening the neighborhood layer so vulnerable residents are connected before the evacuation order comes. Thank you.
Great, thank you both. So now, before I speak, I don't have much to say. I would like us to be able to have questions and answers. And if you know how to use the raise your hand feature, you can do that. Or if you're on the screen, you can raise your hand. Any questions? Yes, Terry.
I am so excited to hear about the buddy system. I was not aware of it. I'm wondering if, because I have quite a few neighbors who have asked about what to do. And I'm curious if the United Way information is on the Nevada County OES page, or on the website anywhere, or even Nevada City OES, and or does 211 know about it? Do they refer people over?
We are working with 211. We know our OES in both the county and Nevada City had their hands full when we launched this program, getting their alert system set over. We we use all of their information first. We do not want to create our own rules up and confuse people. So it's going to be pretty standard across the board. We will push. That's the first thing that the buddies do, is make sure that they're set up properly for the county alerts. And we just kind of want to be the echo for what they're already saying in the reminders. I do have a good connection with Nevada City OES, and we will be moving forward with them shortly, I would imagine.
This is great. Do you mind if so our Firewise community, Deer Creek Southside, we do have a website. And is that fine for me to put your information on there and start trying to get the word out?
Absolutely. If you needed special images or flyers, digital flyers to put up on there, I can provide those for you.
That
No
would be
problem.
great. Thanks
Thank
so
you,
much.
Terry.
Carrie, we'll also have a session coming up when case is a little farther along, just for Firewise community leaders, because there is another feature so leaders can kind of have more of a background role and being able to, watch multiple buddy teams.
Yeah, exciting.
We are working on software that we call a portal.
It did. Good.
That gives everyone a little bit more organization. We can have all the county documents in one place. We have message boards, community specific. We have evacuation status that you can set. That's really just going to be more for the organization, for the community leaders, not a replacement of anything that's going on currently in the county.
Any other questions? Well, I have one. So, Case, I'm a Firewise community leader, and we have 3 people in my community, which is pretty small. What would it look like for me as a Firewise community leader and the account I would have compared to just me being a buddy, which I will be for one of my neighbors?
I'm sorry, you said an account?
Well, I don't remember exactly what you called it, but you would set something up for the Firewise community leaders, an individual leader that you would somehow be
Yes.
able to see more. Can you just describe briefly so Terry hears what that is?
So within the portal, there's an admin role for each community, and they can be Firewise communities, they can be communities that we create that aren't Firewise yet, and they kind of have access to all their users in that area signed up and can communicate with them. They have a message board that shares together. So for you, with a few members in your community, you'll probably still be doing most of your communication in person or over your phone. But we will have a main, essentially, admin panel that has everything in one place that we can continue adding features on as they are needed. It's just trying to keep the messaging the same across the board so it doesn't get convoluted.
Yeah, great. So it's really helpful for a Firewise community leader or an HOA leader to be able to just have all the information in one spot. And even if I only have a few, if I need to message them all at one time, that's a way to do it.
Yeah, our goal is so everything can travel up the chain. If we hit real emergencies and situations, of course, the first person we're calling will be the sheriff with that information.
Yeah, great. Any other questions? Okay, Alex, I have one for you because I haven't checked it out yet. I have AT&T as well, but do I need to go in when I enter all those numbers and click them as favorite or anything? Or I do? Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and that was something that came up in the coalition meeting. Was it last week already?
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out, like, okay, actually, what is the process? But yes, just like you would if you wanted to turn your notifications off, be able to have a loved one to like push through you want to do the same thing with these 5 numbers so that if you're someone who's in the habit of trying to get sleep, you make sure that, you're not only getting those messages from your loved ones pushed all the way through, but you're getting the messages from the 5 numbers from Nevada County Alerts pushed all the way through, because we don't have a way to override that on our side of things. So that's something that you actually have to do on your side of things.
Great. Casey.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I have 2 questions for Case.
Yes.
I may have missed one of the questions. The other one is is there a cost to us as Firewise leaders, or is this free? That's question number 1.
Oh, this will be free. The way I've built this, it is very low cost of maintenance for keeping the system up monthly with all the new technology that's coming out in the world. I've done pretty well at so far keeping it under a couple $100 a month for the whole portal. I mean, things can change, but it will never be a cost back to you guys. If there are major costs, we would refer those to hopefully a grant, but it's nothing that's going to hold us back, because what's already almost live is pretty impressive.
Thank you. And I asked that because I know it takes a lot of effort for us to sort of go out there and solicit volunteers and make the matches and get the whole program started. So I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you. The second question, and I probably missed this one, what are the push notifications?
You're breaking up, Casey.
I kind of got that. So I can implement push notifications because there is an alert system built in, but like we said earlier, we have an awesome alert system with the county that if anything, it would just be Nevada County's alerts will be posted into the portal for each community that they were issued for on their message board. And if there was an alert system utilized, it would just be almost internally through your community that could be used and activated at any time. But like Alex said, we're trying to keep everything streamlined to this whole new system that's come out. And with the phone number, with it coming through the phones, essentially each community can have its own identifier that those alerts are coming in for and will automatically post your residents.
Yeah, let me give you a scenario case, because I think I'm not concerned about the Nevada County alerts. If this is more like if I have a neighbor who is in the buddy system program, as in I need assistance, and it's between the volunteer that said they would assist them, and that something happens, and the person who needs the help, will the person who has volunteered get a notification, just them? Like, is it set up so that they'll get a push notification that says, my buddy needs help, I better get in my car and go?
Yes, there is it's an opt-in for that for each user if they want to receive that. There's also an internal chat feature, but keeping in mind most people probably will still be talking face to face and on the phone. An app could be built for it. I'm trying not to convolute it. I'm trying to keep it basic. It's just a domain portal for the moment. But absolutely, anything essentially that you want for your community, I can engineer into the software because that's my background. So that's why these next meetings coming up, like the first beta test we had, will be very helpful as I was able to implement those community admin roles themselves. And each of your residents will be able to set their evacuation status that will show on your user role for your community. So if everyone's actually utilizing it, you'll be able to look quickly of who left, who's still there, or who didn't respond, or in fact actually selected they need help. In which case, that would probably go up the chain really fast to emergency official emergency services in town.
I just think it's great because it puts down who the buddies are. So if something happens to me or I'm on vacation, I have somebody else in my community that can, back me up, one of my other leaders in the community. So I like that. It's not just the informal system is good. This just adds a little to it. And Alex is busily putting things in the chat that are helpful. Thank you, Alex. So any other questions otherwise I'm going to go on to my last slide or two, and Casey can talk about the workshop tomorrow. Okay, without that, I will see if I can share my screen again. Just a minute, I may be able to do it. Let's see. Okay, so the Wildfire Ready Coalition, we have resources to help you in addition to these workshops and the quarterly meetings that we put on. We also have a website that we try to keep up to date with the most current information. So the new Nevada County Alert System information is on there, and we have links that take you right to the Nevada County OES site. We also have Act Now, which are really resources that help narrow down for you what the key things you ought to be thinking about and doing about each season or each month. And these are in part meant for you to share. So there's a lot of images like the one on the left there, the recipe for disaster. Casey, her last name's Cook. She cooks up great things all the time. So this is a really good way to communicate with your Firewise community or anybody else. Just what is it that makes things more likely to ignite and start on fire? Then in the center, there's resources like this flyer here that you could send out an email, post to social media, or you can send, we have social media where we post these, what to do when there's red flag weather. And OES has, similar information on their site. So the way we figure it, the more you get it, the more different ways, the better. Now, we also have another upcoming workshop tomorrow. This is kind of evacuation webinar week because Freed has one on Friday, I believe. But Casey, can you talk a little bit more about the webinar tomorrow?
Sure, thanks. Tomorrow, what we're focusing on is one specific area of evacuation, and that is when your route fails or you're not able to use your road for some reason to evacuate, and where do you go? And the question becomes, something where you can pre-plan that in your community and define some areas, which I call zones of last resort. And if you join, you'll hear about that tomorrow. I will be co-presenting this along with CAL FIRE Chief, Battalion Chief Mike Kidwell. It was advertised as with Mickey Cheezick, Battalion Chief. He's on assignment out of area due to some fires. So this is really something that is a last resort. It's not really evacuation, it's when evacuation fails. And so we'll be going through what to think about and what to do, and you don't want to be faced in that scenario not having had the opportunity to plan for it. So it's a bit of a difficult conversation. I started this last year with my neighborhood, and my neighbors, were very grateful. Some said they lost sleep thinking about it, but they were incredibly grateful. So I hope some of you will join me and Chief Kidwell tomorrow evening at 5:30.
Any questions? You can get more information about that webinar on our calendar, and the Zoom link is on there. We also have it advertised on social media, our Facebook and Instagram sites. So,
and it went out in Ubinet and Union too.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
And KCNO.
Yep. You can hear an interview with KC on KNCO. Any other questions or things anybody else wants to share?
Well, I did put a link, Joanne, in there. Joanne and I have been talking a lot about how do we encourage us, those of us who are on this session and the rest of the Firewise community and anybody, frankly, in the county interested in having an ongoing dialogue and having the opportunity to ask questions or share ideas. So we launched a Facebook group dedicated. It's called the Nevada County Firewise Network. I put the link in there. You guys are all welcome to join as people. We're not asking agencies or companies or businesses to join. It's very much a people-to-people network. And so the idea is that, you know, if Carolyn has a problem, then maybe Terry's got a solution. So think of crowdsourcing the answers, right? So it's up and running. We just launched it last week. It's brand new. And I'd love to see you guys join us in our mission to talk about Firewise.
I'm not seeing any more hands up here. It's okay if we end early. Anything else for the good of the order? I'm really glad you're all participating. I think it's good to keep on the top of our minds how to be ready right now. And I have to admit, I emptied my go bag for our go bag showdown, and I have to put it back together again. And now this is reminding me again, I've seen Alex's slides twice. Go do your go bags, Joanne, and my pets too. So I probably took those apart as well. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate you attending, and this is recorded, so we'll have it up there. So if you know anybody that missed it, they'll be able to find it on our YouTube channel. And thank you, Alex and Case, for joining us.
Thank you for
Good night,
having me.
everybody.
Thank you.